in studio, another segment with political analyst Scott Hughes. A couple more bond issue questions before we get to your actual prediction. A pretty damn smart ad, I thought, earlier this week, maybe late last, by the Caddo Parish Republican Party, and the way they framed voting for the bond issue. And basically, this is my interpretation. I don't know if you saw it. No doesn't mean no. No doesn't mean no. It just means not now. I thought that was pretty damn smart, and in my mind, was pretty effective. Have you seen that one?
I have. I think one of the most interesting things that's come out in the last couple of weeks on the bond issue is this statement or belief that if we don't vote them in now, we have to wait to 2030, I think was the year that was thrown out. And I've heard that clarified. I think the mayor did clarify that in your show is that's the next time bonds would expire. The next time that we could do a renewal, which is, quote, no new taxes. I think what the Republican Party is pointing out is maybe the hypocrisy in that statement, which is you can vote bonds in anytime you want to. Anytime there's a ballot, you can put something on the ballot and vote bonds in. And so the party is saying, as I appreciate it, it's that thing we've heard. This was rushed. We should back up. We can come back in April and do it again, which you 100% can do. I think the mayor's concern is that would then clearly be new taxes. And this whole fight we've talked about this before on the station. This whole phraseology of is it a new tax or not? It's always a new tax because it would roll off the books. You've made this analogy, Aaron.
Thank you.
It's always a new tax. It's just sometimes it won't cost you any different than what you've been paying. And I think that's what we're fighting behind the scenes. And the Republican Party's saying, let it roll off, and we'll discuss putting it back on. The mayor's trying to say, let's renew it before it rolls off. That's the fundamentals.
Because he doesn't want to be the mayor that brings a new tax to the table.
Because he's 100% right. And the Republicans will then hit him with, it's a new tax.
Yeah.
And that will make it harder, particularly with some voters, to vote for a new tax.
And if it's 186 million, they can campaign against him. He put the largest tax increase on the ballot in Shreveport. I can hear the commercials now.
Somebody has said to me not too long ago, it was a former Shreveport city councilman. He said it's very important if you are the mayor and you're going for a bond issue to do it early in your administration within the first year. Because if you don't do it in the first year, then things don't get rolling until the third or the fourth year. And by the time you run for re-election, you don't have anything to show for your bond issue.
Well, I would say that's a brilliant political statement for most cities and municipalities. Unfortunately, in Shreveport, we hardly get projects done in 3 years. And I think that's one of the big concerns. We've talked about this before. A lot of places do a bond issue, and they manage to do all the construction in 3 or 4 or 5 years. In Shreveport, we seem to find a way to take that construction and span it out over a decade, over 10, 11, 12 years. We still have projects today, as I know you like to comment on, Aaron, that are not done from the previous bond issue.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a construct that's brilliant because as a politician, if you're not going to get the benefit from it, then why would you take the political heat for passing the bond issue? That's what that former council person.
You want to make a prediction. You want to tell me what you think. You want to make a call.
On what?
On the bond issue.
Oh, I think I said earlier. I think right now, on Tuesday, I thought 2 of the 3 passed. I think fire and police, and I think water and sewage pass. I'm going to stay with that today. I think one of the things people miss in all of this blow up is there is still a large percentage of Shreveport that doesn't listen to the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. There's a large percentage of Shreveport that could care less about the Trump rally. And there's probably a lot of Shreveport that looked at what the mayor did and said, good for him. Good for him for not participating in that. And so I know a lot of people in my sphere may say, oh, we're glad the president came. But this is still a city and a country that's 50-50 divided. And this may be a play on the mayor's behalf that turns up the volume on the other side of the vote that he needs. And you're looking at a vote that's going to be very, very close. And then the other thing I look at is a lot of the people that are saying today, oh, another reason not to vote for the bond issue, they weren't voting for the bond issue before. There's really a narrow crowd on the conservative Republican side that was probably going to vote for it anyway.